Everyone, welcome back again. So I want to dive into Biden's month for the month of April, see how he's going to be doing and maybe ways that we can support him. Besides the normal sending you lots of love kind of thing, right? So, okay, let me just swap out cameras here and bring you over to my table. I'll be right back. Okay, so I decided to use Libby's awesome little deck. Little cards, but there's a lot of them. More than in the tarot. So if you like this deck, you can get it on Etsy. I highly recommend it. It covers all the bases. That's why I feel it's good for these monthly readings for Joe. So let's see. How's he going to be doing this April? April 2024. How will it go for him? What may he be dealing with? What extra prayers of support might he need from us? Okay, so that should be pretty well cleared. Let me settle in now. Well, so right in the center, he's definitely holding on to his faith. Oh, we've got the go sign for our country. Even though he's dealing with and moving away from, I read directionally, moving away from a lot of dark energy. Let's bring these down a little. Okay, and things are slow when it comes to the dark energy. I mean, because, it takes time. There's too much of it right now. Okay, the key. Let's see what that might relate to. The key card can be a solution. Celebration. Yeah, he's a loss at something that's been celebrated. That's too bad. I don't know what that's about yet. Hold on. Small, significant, something small. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Dark energy intertwined. Oh, the past was going slow. Maybe I should just get these laid out and then start talking. How about them apples? Or in his case, ice cream cones, or what? He probably eats apples too, but who knows? Oh, now that's interesting. I like that. Confusion over there. Greed. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, and if I were to keep going, he's got the worker bee trying to, probably with fundraising. But then again, he's got a pretty large stash of cash in his campaign. I could say some things about Trump, but I'd already decided ahead of time, I'm not even going to think about him. Just going to focus in on Joe. Although, of course, that's all the dark energy that he's always dealing with. But if it weren't Trump, it would have probably been someone else, because obviously it's something that our country needed to go through in order to clear out, in order to... My take on all of this is that the dark energy mostly has to do with racism. Now, if a person is racist, they're also going to be sexist and, xenophobic and against LGBTQ. They're not going to even give a shit about the earth when it comes to, climate change and all of that, because their brains just don't work right. There's something... Although, I have to take that back. They can... I do believe they can be racist, but then also conservative when it comes to the earth. But then again, they get on board for things like coal and big oil and all that. So, all right, let's just focus in on Joe. So, I'm going to start here, even though I like what I'm seeing up here. He always has a lot of faith, and he just puts his trust in his faith. That is one of the ways that he leads. And that is also one of the things that helps him when things are going all different directions. And that is part of just his security, his foundation, the foundation, the body he lives in, and his family, puts a lot of faith and trust in his family. As far as the division key or division card here, notice this angle is also leading to it. So it is about the country. He's working. He's in a big, he's got a go sign for the country. He's looking for ways to create solutions to help the division, to not support the division, the divided country, but to bring unity. These two cards, knight together over here. So this is his, present focus. I believe. Now we can also read it as past, present, future, early in the month, middle, and late. But I do think this is present because he has so much faith that he does know how to get rid of and dispel the dark energy, but he feels it within the country, and it makes him feel sad. It gives him less to celebrate. He feels that it's a loss. I mean, I don't have the sad card here, but I think he sees it as a loss. Like it's such a loss because I think he knows, I think he's in his leadership enough to know that if we go slow and put our daily moment to moment, trust in the the universe, for him, it's God and his Catholic religion, but I mean, I believe in God. I just don't see God as a man on a throne, doing it. No. To me, it's just all love, all bliss, all just all the good stuff. But people take their time getting there, and it's really, that's a hard thing for him. It causes him to feel like it's such a loss of energy to go into the darkness. So even though it comes up, he does his best to, when those things come up, he goes his best to celebrate in whatever small little way he can. And I like that. He might also, sometimes, because, we're all human, he might also sometimes feel like, hey, what about me? And I said I wasn't going to bring the other guy into this reading, but what about me? Look at all the work that I've done because remember, we also, if I were to keep going, we have the worker bee. What about all the work that I've done, and why are such a significant amount of people, not celebrating that? I know how that feels. I mean, here I have 10,000 subscribers, and I do daily little, 3-card daily readings, and I'm lucky if I'll get 400 views on that, because most people don't really care about working on themselves. They just care about what's going on in the outer world. Or it could be that they're doing their own damn readings and they don't need me. So, but anyway, he feels small and insignificant. That's about sometimes, when he gets into his human side. We all have an ego. We all have our humanity. And, that's just the way it goes. We all have those times. But the solution for him seems to be to just keep going and working for the good of the country. Now, I'll get into this over here in a minute. I want to focus back here earlier in the month, so it goes more chronologically. So opening up the month, he's looking, at about standing in his leadership and the light shining in, helping him. There's illumination here. I think that this is really good for the solar, and I if I get time, I'll do that. I don't know if a lot of people want that or not, but I can do the solar eclipse in his chart. But anyway, these cards bode well for the solar eclipse. And, some people think that solar eclipses tend to have more of an effect on people in leadership. I can't really say that that's true. It's just that we see it more because they're in positions of leadership. Right? I mean, there was the one we had, I think was it October last year? Yeah, or I think it was. I had it come right in on my Saturn, and most readers would think that that's just something terrible, and I'm like, no, it helps me cement, helps me really get into my, where I'm standing and I'm not budging, and it did help. I got a lot of new subscribers, and it was a good thing. So it all depends on how you work in the energy. Not that I'm perfect at working any energy, but I just don't tend to look at the, I don't think eclipses are negative or anything to fear. Unless you're somebody really dark, Okay, so convoluted and confusion. Sometimes he's not sure what to go and work on because there's so damn much. So he's always looking towards a solution of where is there loss that I can help to heal? How can I lead people through loss? Look what just happened with the bridge. Oh, my goodness. And there are bridges falling apart all over, but this one, of course, was a terrible situation where the communication was lost on the ship that hit the bridge. But they're saying that lives were saved because of that Mayday call that the ship put out. There were some, it could have been so much worse. Some were able to get out of the way. Can you imagine being the ship captain and not being able to stop? That's the thing. And it's a good metaphor for not the situation, but the ship moving through the water. The way the government works and the reason it's so slow and it's so frustrating and hard for us when we're waiting for justice, we can look at the metaphor of a ship and going through the ocean, and you have to turn it around or go in a certain direction, or even to stop it. It takes a lot. You have to act. Well, once you do act, then it takes a long time for it to finally stop. So, okay. Anyway, it's slow going because he's dealing with energies of the past and people who are confused. And especially, I think this has to do with his leadership position, and then all the gossips and the bullshit that what are they called? The something committee, something select committee or whatever. Basically, it's the crazy eights, Jim Jordan, James Comer, Margie Taylor Greene, and some others. Louis Gomer. Who else? Ron Johnson's probably in there. I don't know. I don't know why his head or face just popped in my head. But so anyway, gossips and secrets are still dogging him. That's a slow go to get away from that. But he does keep moving towards his trust. Remember, the center 9 box is pretty much where he's sitting for the month. So his focus is on the security of our country, no matter how long it takes them and how slow, right? And then also looking for solutions to support, not to support the division, but to support the healing of the division. I can, it's like a lot of times I hear him in my head, and, it's like, oh, come on, man. Can't we all just get along? He does have Neptune in Libra like I do, but Neptune stays in a sign for like 14 years or more, so he's ahead of me. I'm in the later degrees of Libra, but anyway, he has Neptune in Libra in his 10th house, so he is connected to that source energy in his leadership position. So there's that. And then, let's see, he really is just trying to hold the position of shining a light on all the things that we can be grateful for, and that he feels is a part of what he needs to do as a leader. even though he's always having to look into the past, and he is, I think some of this little pissy stuff right here has to do with he doesn't like what people are saying about him and, his son Hunter, but he also doesn't like how long it's taken him to get away from supporting Netanyahu and that whole thing. He was slow with that. Lori over at the Way of Positive Change, her and I read for about 45 minutes one Saturday when we were live together, and it was a long time ago, and we saw all this stuff. We kept diving into Netanyahu and seeing that it was going to take Biden some time to get to this place. He's finally there. Remember last month he called him an asshole? Yeah, I'd say he's worse than that. But anyway, we sat out, the U.S. sat out with giving any more power to Netanyahu. So there's that. And whether it was the right way to go or not is, I don't have any idea. But I can see this here. He's still kind of convoluted this month for April. He's still going to be kind of in that confusing energy of the past and wondering if he made the right decisions, probably, because we have the decision key card over here. So, yeah. Okay, so let's look at the four corners. So gossips and secrets, there's going to be something that comes out that he doesn't like. But I think it's mostly to do with how people are just mean. And it might have something to do with the LGBTQ community. But it might also have to do with something he's joined together with in order to, support the country. Because we have to remember, this is right up top center here. And he might change his mind on something. Just looking at the four corners from one angle. So I've covered both, pretty much up to here. So now let's focus over here. So he is working to slow the growth of dark energy, slow the growth of the dark energy for the country. He's trying to keep an eye on it. I have a feeling maybe let's cover up here for a second. Let's cover up that gossips and secrets, because Libby told me that you cannot look at the, if you want to get a different picture of it, don't look at the words. We're also drawn to words, right? So it's hard to not do. So I'm covering it up there. How about this is him getting his daily briefings. What part of this could be is him making a decision to not have anything to do with that with Trump coming in, even though he said he would. But the deal is, because that's like protocol usually, it's tradition to let the, once the person is once the other candidate for both parties, they're able to become whoever's in the White House is traditionally giving the one who's possibly coming in, the one they're running against, daily briefings, or not daily, but just they get the NSA briefings. But I've heard, and I've said this once before, so I apologize if you're tired of hearing it, but they've said, I heard CIA past director Brennan say that the briefings are only oral. Trump would not get any documents. Here goes my inability to not bring Trump into this reading, but he wouldn't get anything by document that, so there's nothing for him to sell, right? And they would only be oral, and they wouldn't be anything more than what we're getting on the news, so he could get that himself. But maybe Biden is making a decision to not, even though he said he would in the past, maybe he's going to change his mind and decide, because I think he's pretty pissed at just everything that Trump's been doing. And it's so easy to see that Trump is losing his mind, so who would trust somebody like that? Anyway, so talking and flipping. Now, so mirroring these two cards together makes me wonder, and we've got the greed, pretentiousness, or the greedy card up here, makes me wonder if I'm towards the end of the month, or maybe this is one of actually, this tends to be a major card for me in any of these spreads, where this is the answer card a lot of times when we have a question. So I'm thinking maybe there's somebody who wants to come into unity with our country and with Biden, and they're flipping on Trump, and they have a lot of money to, oh, I'm getting chills. Okay, they actually have a lot of money to offer, but Joe sees them for some reason, because he gets the info, right? Right, he gets the intel, and it's kind of conflated and confused and going all over the place from the past. He's been hearing a lot, but in the future, or by the end of the month, or maybe closer into May, he decides to go in another direction himself because somebody's given him information, or they finally have given him the information that he was suspect to, because we got to remember, the guy's got 3 planets in the 12th house and 1 in the 11th, and they're all in Scorpio. So he's hooked up, man. He's a very, he always has been a very intuitive guy. So, and then with that Neptune in the 12th, as long as he's holding by, his faith in the universe, he's going to do his best to go the right direction. But, he's not perfect, and we all have confusions, times of confusion, and we all have times of feeling insignificant and small. But for the most part, he's just focusing on what he wants to bring in. And this is interesting. I wonder if... So there's somebody who's been connected to some dark energy, intertwined and seeing both ways, like seeing the unitive side, this would be somebody who is equally able in their mind, or at least they had been, equally able in their mind to go to the dark places and, or maybe it's him. Maybe this could be a person, or this could be him, who's been able to go both ways and see, and I don't mean that in any other negative content, or, well, that's not negative, but whatever. I didn't mean it in a sexual way. I'm talking on the levels of the mind, where he's able to see the dark energy that's going on in the country, because he's getting the daily briefings, but he also probably watches the news profusely, or reads, makes sure that he's up on everything going on. Plus, he's briefed by his own administration. And so sometimes he's looking at the big picture and the brightness of life and the beauty of life, and literally life, the unity of life, these cards mirroring each other. But then how hard is that to be a leader and sit in this place where you see the darkness and the light? That's actually, to me, a really mature soul, where you can see both. Because the Pollyannish attitude of, it's all, we're all ascending, and all this other, I don't know. That's just me. I don't prefer those words myself, because we're always we're living on a planet of duality is the deal. So there's the dark and the light. But he is looking towards unity for everyone all over the world, even though I don't have the world card here, but he's a global guy. He always has been. And he's always looking for solutions and growth. But he might be, I kind of want to not look at the words there. He might be just, this might be him relaxing at night, or it might be him connecting with somebody who's very wealthy. That's interesting. Very wealthy, but then he's worried about the dark energy, but I don't know who he gets to flip. This may be in relationship to, the sham impeachment, because that's been dogging him in the past, and that's been dogging his leadership. And it truly is. I mean, they have no evidence whatsoever, and then there's just so much darkness actual real evidence coming out with from Lev Parnas and all the darkness that Trump took us through, and we're still in because of him. So I think there's a flippage, there's a pushing it back at, just imagine a spatula like, no, you take that. I mean, because we've got the dark energy, the growth of unity, small and slow, but it's sure. And then we have him, I think, throwing something back. And I think this has to do with the House GOP that is just crazy, convoluted. And I think maybe by the end of the month that sham impeachment is done, and that's all flipped back. Because if we let go of the greed word here and just see the pretentious, doesn't that totally explain the that committee that is trying to impeach him, right? I mean, that's how I would see it. You guys let me know what you think. That's the cool thing about Libby's deck is, the symbology and the artwork. I love it. Anybody can read this. You just have to either read it as a story, set your intention ahead of time when you're shuffling, and the way Libby does it is to just read it as a story, like this. But I set the other intention, so if I do that this time, it probably wouldn't work out. But you guys can try it. The other way you can do is, so with a typical Lenormand, you go with the center card, and then you read it all the way through the 9 cards. You go past, so you go past joy in his leadership, past where's he going towards? Well, he's still kind of stuck in the past, and it's still convoluted, and it's slow. And because due to, the sham impeachment from the House, and that causes him to lose a little bit of joy every day that he could be celebrating, So you do that. And then you can also knight. It's like, so 2 over and 1 up. Or 1 down and 2 up. So from lost to the country, that's insignificant. But that's the House GOP there. So you can knight, and then the other thing you can do is you can read in columns this way. And then the other thing you can do is mirror the 2 cards together and keep going, But that center column, to me, and especially the way I do with my intention, I start here because it's the heart of the issue for the question. So it looks like overall, in summary, it's slow going. There's still some being stuck in the past with those idiots in the GOP House, like whatever, select committee, something, blah, blah, blah. Crazy eights is what I call them. I just can't remember all 8 of them, and I don't want to. Better off keeping my head out of that kind of stuff. And then in the future, it looks like there's something that kind of flips that all back on them. And they're pretending that they know all that. And they didn't, right? The pretentiousness of all the confusion from the past, right? And it's going to actually grow, because I read directionally, and look, this growth is towards unity. He's leading us, literally leading us towards unity. Yeah, and I think we had this card for March, too. I think the division card was here, too. Pretty sure. But this time we have small next to it. I like that. So less division in the country than there was. We're going to see in April with him, or less. He'll be dealing with less. So I like that. I really like that. And the key card in the Lenormand, so I'll read it the same way, is one of the most significant cards in the deck, where it has the strength to unlock whatever cards it knights to. So if we're unlocking loss and we're headed in a good direction with all go signs towards unity, then we can flip anything else out and, let it go. And maybe, I just heard Linda G say, nothing burger. and it's right, it's true. The whole Hunter Biden, collusion bullshit is a big nothing burger, and it just shows that all they do is just waste energy, and it keeps the country divided. That's how the GOP is working, and especially the GOP House. That is how they are working, is to try and divide the country and feed into fear, especially with LGBTQ rights and transgender rights. That was redundant the way I just said it, but yeah. So again, in summary, I think this is all going to, by the end of this month, he'll be done. I think that the, that stupid committee, I think they'll be done, and they don't have anything. They won't have anything. Nothing burger. Yeah. So, okay. I'm going to get this uploaded. Big hugs, you guys. Sending you tons of love. Okay, bye.